At 49, Kate Winslet is finally opening up about the truth behind her relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's not what most people expected. Their bond has been one of Hollywood's most talked about connections for over 2 decades. But was there ever something more? Or has it always been something deeper? Or something even more? Join us as we explore the real story behind Kate and Leo's extraordinary relationship. 2 rising stars. Before Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio became the unforgettable Rose and Jack in Titanic, they were already making waves in Hollywood as talented young actors. Their paths were different, but both were heading towards something big. Let's take a closer look at how each of them rose to fame before the Titanic brought them together. Kate Winslet began her acting career in the early 1990s, but her breakout moment came in 1994 with the critically acclaimed film Heavenly Creatures. Directed by Peter Jackson, the movie was based on a true crime story and was both haunting and emotional. Winslet played Juliet Hume, a wealthy teenager involved in a disturbing and intense friendship that led to a shocking crime. Her performance stunned critics. It was raw, powerful, and emotional, especially impressive since it was her first major film role. At just 19 years old, Kate showed that she was ready for challenging parts. In 1995, Kate starred in Sense and Sensibility, a period drama based on Jane Austen's novel. She played Mary Ann Dashwood, a young woman driven by emotion and passion. The role showed off Kate's range, balancing vulnerability with strength. The film was a big success and earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. People quickly realized she wasn't just a new actress, she was one of the best of her generation. Kate followed that success with Jude in 1996, another intense drama based on Thomas Hardy's novel Jude the Obscure. She played Sue Bridehead, a strong and independent woman who defies the strict rules of Victorian society. Once again, Kate chose a character that was emotional and complex. It became clear that she wasn't chasing fame or easy roles. She wanted to play women with real struggles, and she was excellent at it. By the time Titanic came around in 1997, Kate Winslet was already known for her thoughtful role choices and strong performances. Though she was still young, her filmography showed her maturity and fearlessness. She had quickly become a respected name in British and international cinema. Leonardo DiCaprio also started acting at a young age. He began with small roles in TV shows, but his real breakout came in 1993 with This Boy's Life, starring opposite Robert De Niro. DiCaprio played Tobias Wolff, a teenager with a troubled home life. Acting next to a legend like De Niro wasn't easy, but Leo held his own and made people take notice. His performance was intense and full of emotion, and it set the tone for the rest of his career. That same year, DiCaprio starred in What's Eating Gilbert Grape as Arnie, a boy with a developmental disability. This role changed everything for him. He was just 19, but his performance was so moving and realistic that he earned his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. It was rare for someone so young to get that kind of recognition, and it showed that Leo wasn't just a teen actor, he had serious talent. Over the next few years, he balanced smaller emotional roles with a few bigger ones. But it was Romeo and Juliet in 1996 that made him a global heartthrob. Playing Romeo in Baz Luhrmann's modern take on the Shakespeare classic, Leo captured the hearts of millions. He was romantic, passionate, and cool. The film's success pushed him into the spotlight, and he quickly became one of the most talked-about actors in Hollywood. Even with his rising fame, Leonardo DiCaprio kept choosing roles that challenged him. He wasn't just picking movies to be popular. He wanted to prove himself as a real actor. Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio were already stars before Titanic, but their lives were about to change forever once they met on set. Sparks on the Titanic. When Titanic began filming in 1996, Kate Winslet was just 21, and Leonardo DiCaprio was 22. Neither of them could have known at the time how much their lives were about to change, not just in their careers, but in their personal lives too. More than just co-stars, they formed a deep, lasting friendship that has stood the test of time and fame. The production of Titanic was famously tough. It was a massive movie with a huge budget, long shooting days, and a demanding director, James Cameron. The set was often cold and wet. There were underwater scenes, dramatic stunts, and emotional moments. For young actors like Winslet and DiCaprio, it could have been overwhelming. But instead of letting the stress get to them, Kate and Leo connected right away. They bonded over a shared sense of humor and a natural trust that formed between them early on. Kate has since said that Leo helped her get through some of the harder days. Despite the chaos on set, they found comfort in each other's company. Winslet later joked in interviews that DiCaprio got more days off than I ever did, adding a playful tone to their behind-the-scenes experience. But underneath the humor was a strong bond that grew as they spent more time together. They supported each other emotionally through the grueling filming process. That connection laid the foundation for a friendship that would last decades. Their chemistry on screen as Jack and Rose came from a real place of comfort and mutual respect. They weren't pretending to like each other, they really did, and that honesty came through in every scene they filmed. One of the most iconic scenes in Titanic is when Jack and Rose kiss at the bow of the ship. Fans still talk about it to this day. The moment looks magical on screen, but off-camera, it was anything but romantic. Kate Winslet has shared the real story behind the scene, and it's far from what most people imagine. The kiss was actually uncomfortable to film. For one, Kate had to wear a super tight corset, which made it hard to breathe. On top of that, the makeup team couldn't easily get to Leo and Kate between takes because of the tight filming location. So she ended up fixing his makeup herself. Every time they kissed, their makeup would get smudged. Kate once joked that it looked like she'd been sucking a caramel chocolate bar after each take. The lipstick and foundation would blend, leaving a mess on both their faces. Instead of being a romantic memory, the kiss became more of a funny story they could laugh about later. This moment perfectly sums up their friendship. Even while filming one of the most romantic scenes in movie history, they were able to laugh, support each other, and keep things lighthearted. After Titanic, Kate and Leo could have gone their separate ways. Their careers exploded, and both became international stars. But they didn't drift apart. Instead, their friendship grew even stronger. In 2008, they reunited for the film Revolutionary Road, a dramatic story about a struggling married couple in the 1950s. It was a completely different kind of film from Titanic. This time, they were playing people who were falling apart, rather than falling in love. There was one strange twist. The movie was directed by Kate's husband at the time, Sam Mendes. That made things a little awkward, especially when it came time to film the romantic and emotional scenes between her and Leo. Kate later admitted it was undeniably weird to act out passionate scenes with her close friend while her husband watched from behind the camera. Even with the awkward setup, Kate gave a powerful performance. She ended up winning the Golden Globe for Best Actress. It showed not only her talent, but also the deep level of comfort and trust she shared with DiCaprio. The fact that they were willing to work together again after more than a decade says a lot about their respect for each other as artists. In interviews, both Kate and Leo said they had been actively looking for another project to work on together since Titanic. That wasn't just a coincidence. It showed how much they valued each other, not just as friends, but also as creative partners. More than co-stars, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio have shared something rare in Hollywood: a deep, emotional friendship that has lasted for decades. Their bond goes far beyond the screen. It's full of meaningful moments, heartfelt gestures, and real, lasting support for each other. During the filming of Revolutionary Road in 2008, Kate Winslet had a quiet dream. She wanted to give Leonardo DiCaprio a special gift that would represent their journey together. It was a simple item, a paperweight, but with a message that carried a lot of emotion. She imagined it engraved with the words, "Wherever you go, "I will go too." Those words weren't just poetic, they reflected on how close they had become over the years. Their friendship had grown stronger since Titanic, and filming Revolutionary Road brought a new level of emotional intensity to their connection. The movie was heavy and full of tension and heartbreak, and working on such a project brought Kate and Leo even closer. When Kate shared her paperweight idea with Leonardo, he became emotional. He cried. That moment showed just how much their friendship meant to him too. It wasn't just a kind gesture, it was a reminder of how deeply they understood each other, even without speaking. Both of them ended up exchanging keepsakes during that time, gifts that weren't flashy or expensive but meaningful. These keepsakes symbolized more than their roles in the movie. They represented the years of trust, laughter, tears, and support they had given each other. In a world where many friendships fade under pressure, theirs only grew stronger. For all their closeness, there was one period when Kate and Leo didn't see each other for a long time. The pandemic kept them apart for nearly 3 years. With travel restrictions and busy schedules, they didn't get a chance to reunite, something that was hard for both of them. Finally, in late 2021, they reunited in Los Angeles. It had been far too long. When they saw each other, Winslet couldn't hold back her emotions. She burst into tears. In an interview later, she explained why. "I've known him for half my life." She wasn't crying just because of the pandemic or the time apart. She was crying because DiCaprio had become a part of her. Someone who had been there through the ups and downs. Someone who truly knew her. Kate said she missed the little things most. Grabbing coffee, chatting about life, and doing absolutely nothing together. Their bond was built on those simple moments. It wasn't about red carpets or awards shows. It was about being real with each other when no one else was around. That emotional reunion reminded both of them how special their connection really was. Even after years apart, nothing had changed. Their friendship picked up right where it left off. Though much of their friendship has stayed private, there have been moments in public that show just how close Kate and Leo are. One of the most memorable examples came in 2016, when Leonardo DiCaprio finally won his first Academy Award for The Revenant. After years of being nominated, he took home the Oscar. And one of the first people to embrace him backstage was Kate Winslet. Photos and videos of the moment went viral. She looked so proud, so genuinely happy. It was as if she had won too. Her reaction wasn't just friendly, it was deeply emotional. After all their years in the industry, she knew how hard he had worked and how much it meant to him. That hug said more than words ever could. Kate has often spoken about her admiration for Leo, not just as an actor, but as a person. She once called him a solid, loyal person. She's praised his kindness, his loyalty, and the way he's always been there for her, no matter what. And Leonardo has returned that support. Through personal struggles, losses, and emotional moments in their lives, they've quietly stood by each other. Not for headlines or social media, just as real friends do. Through gifts, tears, and quiet acts of love, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio have created a friendship that's not just rare, it's extraordinary. Coming up next, we'll see how this lasting bond shaped the way they talk about love, loyalty, and fame. Why they never dated. For over 2 decades, fans have wondered, why didn't Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio ever become a couple? After all, their on-screen chemistry in Titanic was unforgettable, and their off-screen bond is one of the strongest friendships in Hollywood. But the truth is, romance was never in the cards for them. From the start, their connection had a different kind of magic, one rooted in timing, trust, and total honesty. When Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio first met on the set of Titanic in 1996, both were in their early 20s. Kate was 21 and Leo was 22. At that time, neither was looking for romance. They were young, focused on their careers, and thrown into the high-pressure world of filming one of the most ambitious movies ever made. According to Winslet, romance was never even part of their dynamic. In several interviews over the years, she has been open about this, once saying simply, "Romance was never a thing between us." Instead of feeling any pressure to flirt or impress each other, They formed a friendship that was natural, comfortable, and built on real connection. That timing played a big part in why things never turned romantic. Because neither of them was chasing a relationship, they were able to see and support each other as people, not potential partners. It allowed them to grow close without expectations. That created space for something rare, a platonic bond that only got stronger with time. Over the years, both Kate and Leo have described their relationship as more like family than anything else. Winslet once said it feels like a brother and sister bond, and DiCaprio has echoed the same sentiment. They tease each other, support each other, and laugh together in ways that feel more like siblings than anything romantic. They've always been able to be brutally honest with one another. That honesty has been a huge part of their connection. Whether they're giving advice, talking about difficult roles, or navigating the pressures of fame, they've leaned on each other without judgment. Kate has often joked about Leo being a goofball on set, and Leo has praised Kate for her realness and resilience. During interviews, they often interrupt each other, finish each other's sentences, and share private laughs. That playful energy has only deepened over time. Another reason the two never got together lies in their very different personal lives. Over the years, Leonardo DiCaprio has become almost as famous for his dating history as he is for his acting. His relationships have often made headlines, usually involving models and younger women. From Gisele Bündchen to Camila Morrone, and more recently, Gigi Hadid, Leo has been linked to over 20 women in the public eye, most of them under the age of 25 when they dated. This pattern has become something of a running topic in the media and among fans. While Leo seems to avoid long-term commitment, he's remained single through much of his adult life, with no public sign of settling down. It's a lifestyle very different from Winslet's. Kate, in contrast, has always prioritized stability and privacy in her personal life. She's been married to Edward Abel Smith since 2012. Together, they have a son, Bear Blaze, born in 2013. Kate also has two older children from previous relationships, Mia and Joe. She's spoken often about how important it is to keep her children grounded and away from the spotlight. Winslet has made it clear that motherhood changed her perspective. She's focused on building a life that's steady, supportive, and emotionally healthy for her family. She's known for being protective of her privacy, and while she's open in interviews, she rarely brings her personal life into the public spotlight the way many Hollywood stars do. This contrast between her life and DiCaprio's lifestyle only emphasizes why romance never blossomed between them. Their worlds, in that sense, have always been different, but that difference hasn't weakened their friendship. It's actually made it stronger. They've been able to cheer each other on while living separate lives, each rooted in their own unique path. Kate and Leo's story isn't about what could have been, but about what is, a powerful friendship built on years of shared experience, loyalty, and love that doesn't need romance to be real. Next up, let's get into some behind-the-scenes secrets from Titanic that will definitely surprise you. Off-screen secrets. Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio are not just stars on the screen. They're people who care deeply about others. Beyond their fame, they've quietly made an impact in the real world through actions that show compassion, kindness, and dedication. These acts give us a deeper look into who they are when the cameras aren't rolling. Kate Winslet has always been known for keeping her personal life private. But when it comes to helping others, she doesn't seek the spotlight. She acts quietly, without asking for attention or praise. One of the most touching examples of this was in 2021, when she donated £17,000 to a Scottish family whose daughter needed 24-hour life support. The family had been struggling to pay for electricity to run a ventilator for their 12-year-old daughter, Freya, who suffers from a severe form of epilepsy and breathing problems. Their rising energy bills had become overwhelming. When Kate heard about it, she didn't hesitate. She stepped in and made the donation through GoFundMe, without any media push or public statement. Her action wasn't just generous, it was deeply human. She said she was heartbroken by the family's story and felt compelled to help. In another touching act, Kate helped a girl named Lily Ray, who was slowly losing her eyesight due to a rare condition. Lily had created a visual bucket list, a list of things she wanted to see before her vision was gone. When Winslet heard about it, she donated £5,000 to support Lily's dream. Again, there was no big press release. It was a quiet act of kindness. Kate is also a patron of the Family Haven, a charity in the UK that helps vulnerable families, particularly those with young children. The organization provides support for parents who are struggling with poverty, abuse, or mental health issues. Kate's role isn't just about giving money. She's been personally involved, offering time and attention to those who often feel forgotten. What makes Kate's humanitarian work stand out is how personal and empathetic it is. She listens, she reads about people's struggles, she takes action without waiting for a red carpet or applause. These aren't just donations, they're signs of a caring heart. Leonardo DiCaprio has long been one of the loudest voices in Hollywood when it comes to environmental protection. He started the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation back in 1998, long before it was popular to speak up about climate change. His mission was clear from the beginning: to protect the Earth and its most vulnerable ecosystems. Over the years, the foundation has helped fund projects in over 50 countries and has raised close to $100 million for causes like wildlife preservation, ocean health, and fighting deforestation. DiCaprio doesn't just sign checks, he shows up. He speaks at climate summits, attends environmental events, and produces documentaries that raise awareness about global issues. One of his most well-known projects is the 2014 documentary Cowspiracy, which he co-produced. The film explores the environmental impact of animal agriculture and encourages people to rethink their food choices. DiCaprio has been open about his support for plant-based eating as one of the ways to reduce climate damage. He also made headlines by flying commercial to attend COP26, the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow. It might not sound like a big deal, but for a celebrity known for luxury travel, choosing to fly commercial was seen as a way to align his actions with his environmental values. Kate and Leo may live in the spotlight, but it's the way they use their influence off-screen that truly defines who they are, and it's pretty inspiring. The Revolutionary Road revelation. In 2008, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio reunited on screen in Revolutionary Road, nearly a decade after the massive success of Titanic. But this time, their characters were far from star-crossed lovers. Instead, they played a married couple stuck in a failing relationship. The roles were emotionally intense, the scenes were raw, and the experience was very personal for both of them. What made it even more complicated? The film was directed by Sam Mendes, Kate Winslet's husband at the time. The whole project pushed boundaries, both professionally and emotionally, but it also strengthened Kate and Leo's bond in a new way. In Revolutionary Road, Winslet and DiCaprio played April and Frank Wheeler, a couple living in 1950s suburban America. At first, they seem like the perfect pair, young, attractive, and full of dreams. But as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that they are emotionally distant, trapped in a routine, and haunted by unfulfilled desires. The film dives deep into themes like regret, lost ambition, and emotional disconnection. It was a heavy, challenging story to bring to life. The characters argue, hurt each other, and make heartbreaking choices. To portray this kind of emotional unraveling on screen, Winslet and DiCaprio had to fully trust one another. Because of their long-standing friendship, they were able to go to those painful places as actors without fear or hesitation. Winslet once said the roles required total honesty and openness. There was no faking anything. The emotions had to be real. And since they had known each other for over a decade, there was already a strong emotional foundation between them. That foundation helped them deliver powerful, deeply moving performances that many critics called some of the best of their careers. One of the most unique and complicated parts of filming Revolutionary Road was the presence of director Sam Mendes, who was Kate Winslet's husband at the time. Mendes, an Oscar-winning director known for American Beauty, was guiding the entire creative process. That meant he was directing intense, sometimes intimate scenes between his wife and her close friend, Leonardo DiCaprio. This situation could have easily created tension, but according to everyone involved, it didn't. Winslet was honest about the awkwardness. She admitted it was strange to shoot love scenes with Leo while her husband was behind the camera. Still, she said she felt safe and supported by both men. There was deep respect and professionalism on all sides. DiCaprio also handled it with maturity. He didn't shy away from the emotional weight of the film, and he stayed focused on the work. He and Mendes respected each other as artists, and their shared goal was to bring the story to life in the most authentic way. This whole dynamic showed how emotionally mature and committed they all were to the film. Instead of letting the situation get messy or uncomfortable, they leaned into the challenge. The result was a powerful and authentic movie that tackled the complexities of love, marriage, and disappointment. The truth. She confessed at 49. Kate Winslet turned 49 with a lifetime of success behind her. But when she spoke about one of the most meaningful connections in her life, it wasn't about awards or career milestones, it was about Leonardo DiCaprio. In a quiet, heartfelt moment she shared, "I've known Leo longer than my husband or my children." The words were simple, but they said so much. They weren't said for drama, attention, or headlines. They were just honest. Kate wasn't trying to romanticize anything. She wasn't building a myth. She was simply speaking her truth about a rare kind of bond, one that has lasted over 2 decades and still holds strong today. By the time she turned 49, Kate Winslet had lived a full, complicated, beautiful life. She had weathered the ups and downs of fame, marriage, motherhood, and everything in between. But through it all, one constant remained: her friendship with Leonardo DiCaprio. When Kate said she had known Leo longer than her husband or her children, she wasn't making a comparison. She was pointing to how deep their history runs. Most people go through many chapters in life. Friends can come and go, but Leo stayed. Their friendship started in the mid-1990s during the filming of Titanic. They were young, both rising stars, both trying to navigate sudden global fame. But instead of letting that world pull them apart or push them into a romance, they built something else, something grounded in respect, trust, and real emotional connection. What makes her words at 49 so powerful is that they're not sugar-coated. Kate didn't call Leo her better half or the one who got away. She didn't need to. What she described was real, not perfect. It was never built on drama or headlines. It was built on the kind of day-to-day loyalty and care that most people hope to find in any relationship, whether it's romantic or not. Their friendship reminds us that soulmates don't have to be lovers. Sometimes, the person who understands you best, who stays by your side through decades of change, is a friend. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another story like this.